The Koreans are attacking the premium mid-size market with the Genesis G70. Here, sport line, luxury line in comparison, and do Mercedes C-Class, Audi A4 and BMW 3 Series. Do they really need to be afraid now? We'll find out. Thomas and Autogefühl, let's go. In the front we can see a modern but yet timeless design here in the luxury line and also in the baseline with chrome front grille, so more elegant styling definitely. The headlamp unit here with modern daytime running light, really slim integrated these LED lamps, and you can see a very sporty cutout for the hood, which is kind of inside. We know that actually from, for example, E63 models by Mercedes, so styling in the front, I would say top notch. What's your take? And here is a comparison, not only a different color but also different trim, the sport line, which has the black front grille here with high gloss black inside the frame, and also outside frame is not chrome, so more this sinister sporty look here. 4.69 meters or 185 inches is the length of the G70 here, typical mid-size sedan length, and this one here being the luxury line with 18-inch wheels. We'll soon also compare it once again, but I think it's already good size. You get either 18 or 19-inch wheels. Suspension, you get the ECS, electronically controlled suspension. That means adaptive dampers here also standard, and a very elegant side profile line here also with this coupe ending shape, and I really love this matte silver color. Do you as well? And here we go with the sport line. We have bigger wheels. These are the 19-inch wheels in black with red contrasting brake calipers. This was really fitting to this red metallic color right here. And then here around the frames, this is also a little bit darkened then. It's more like, you know, it's not real black, it's not the chrome, it's something between. It's like, you know, like a dark matte chrome finish, so to speak. So I think the sportier trim also fits the car very, very well, but both look really good, I think so. Exterior wise, I think they can really keep up with the German manufacturers. Not only keep up, maybe it's even better looking in some cases. That's of course personal preference. Here the tail lamps also modern signature, and then you can see the lower part here is a little bit longer than the upper part. This also brings some more elegance, especially from this, you know, side look. And here in the sport line trim, this is then connected here in this case with the diesel. We also have very sporty exhaust, and they are actually real. However, the Autogefühl fake exhaust police has to attack here the 2-liter turbo petrol engine in the luxury line, because these outer tips here, I mean the air goes through, but still this is fake, the real exhaust on the inside. However, already the luxury line here has a very sporty rear look with this diffuser style. Oh, and hey, we also have a Majorca blue in sport line here, and yeah, aka Thomas blue, really beautiful. Car key, actually also very elegant. Then door closing sound, important test in Autogefühl. Very solid. Inside of the doors, soft touch here, even softer than there and there. Also galvanized buttons, high build quality, everything we see at the inside of the doors. That's really nice. Lexicon sound system is an option. Very slim door pockets though. And the difference here in the sport line is we have the red contrast stitches. However, yeah, about that. So I think that's a little bit too much, isn't it? Cockpit overview, you can see a very clean design. I really like that. Also soft touch here at the top dashboard here, some leather red covers, 10.25 inch. This, for example, the GV70, the SUV brother, already has the bigger screen. This one here gets the so-called smaller screen still, but it's actually a good size. You can see here the Apple CarPlay integration is also nice. Soon more details to that. And then here, yes, thanks to the automotive god, they still went with manual climate dials, vent strength, and also the heating, cooling, heated steering wheel, the seat heating, everything, you know, with rather big buttons. You can control this while driving, and that's awesome. Yeah, and once again, I also said that you can also do that on the steering wheel. Then the shifting lever, a classic one, also good to have that one. Why do we need like this super innovation, new shifting levers? Yeah, just do it like this. Then the drive mode selector. Soon more to that while driving. When I'm in the sport mode, by the way, the side bolsters here from the seat, they kind of, you know, come closer towards me. That's very interesting. Cup holders here, they are also adaptive and strong enough. In the Mercedes, for example, they're sometimes, you know, not holding the bottles tight enough, but here it works also, yeah, for this Genesis bottle, yeah. And then underneath, Very well aligned here also, some more space with the USB charger. It's all digital, 12.3 inch, and you can scroll through some options. Not too flexible, these digital instruments though, but it's one of the changes here with the new facelifted model. Well, if you're familiar with the G70 model, maybe from the US market, and will know more about the changes now in that facelift, well, it's the exterior design clues definitely we've shown to you. This has been, majorly updated. The suspension has been updated, soon more in the driving part. Then the digital instruments are new, the new infotainment system. These are the major things on the inside. Next to a better noise insulation for the side windows. We're also going to test that in the driving part. And here it is, dual insulation glass for the front, one of the good facelift changes. An option, you can also get a head-up display. Here, not too big, but definitely does the job. And other than that, you have to go to the main menu and then switch to the CarPlay here. And usually this is what you're going to see. So it's a good integration. And this sound system here, yeah, makes actually a good impression. So also positive about that. And yeah, the infotainment system software itself, again, use the CarPlay or the Android Auto with the cable, because here, this one is kind of rather updated software. And if we also took a look at the map, then here, yeah, with this typical, hook effect here in this map, you get along somewhat, but still, yeah, it's not the best usable one. So just plug in your phone and use that. And the rear view camera here, helping lens adapt accordingly, and very smooth, how you can see, like the FPS rate, and also great resolution. Yeah, and by the way, one thing that is really annoying me, no matter what you do, ignition on, off, doors open, bing, bing, ignition, always something is beeping, bong, bong, bing, bang. That's really, yeah. Soft touch also for the rear doors here, that's very good as for the build quality. And once again, also seat heating here in 3 levels. Awesome build quality we see here, and I really can say also interior-wise, build quality-wise, it cannot keep up with the Germans. In some ways it's even better, and this classic user interface I think is also better than the new approaches of, especially by Mercedes, for example. This is one flaw, however, and that's definitely worse than with C-Class, 3 Series and the A4. The rear legroom is not existent. There is a recess here, so if you put the seat a little bit higher, it might fit a little bit better. Feet hardly get under the seat than in this way when it's all the way down. So yeah, that is not good usage of space. Headroom also quite close. It worked like this when I have my spine a little bit bent. When I put my spine up, I do hit the head here. So this is actually the weakest point of this vehicle, the space in the rear. However, build quality wise, still a lot of fun, but yeah, I can't even move around to test the middle seating here. There's a USB charger here. May also have some cup holders. They're actually nicely processed, not adaptive though, but for me it's kind of impossible to move around here in the rear. Trunk, you open it right there. It's actually quite practical. Then sample luggage inside. You see here height way more than enough for a standard backpack. Also here for the cabin trolley, and also this one fits in a vertical way. The length here is about 1 meter or 40 inches, and the width here in the in the central part, like this here, this gets a little bit narrow. This is more like 85 centimeters or like 34 inches, and the overall height is 45 centimeters or 18 inches. And then we have the length to the seat as I would be driving. You see here we have a 2/3, 1/3 split. I already folded 2/3, so you have to go around, and you cannot do it from here. And this length here is about 1.70 meters or 67 inches. Here the cover here, this is like a little bit wobbly and loose, so this is not the best, but there's not much below. So it's detail, maybe not the major one. And here also the interior quality, so this is where there's some, something left to improve. And the bench also doesn't really fold that flat. As for engines, you start with the 2-liter 4-cylinder, 200 horsepower or 250 horsepower, rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. However, you can easily see there's more space left for a V6, 3.3 liters, 370 horsepower, And you can also get a 2.2 liter diesel. And acceleration figures, 4.7 seconds for the V6 and 6.6 seconds here for the 2 liter 4-cylinder all-wheel drive we're driving right now. Welcome to Thomas's driving lounge, Genesis G70. This will be super exciting indeed. How will it rate against the Germans now in the driving? We know the bigger models, the G80 and the GV80, yeah, they were really awesome also for exterior interior, but they had a little bit lack in driving agility. This was the difference into the Germans in the bigger segment. How is it here now in the mid-size segment? Well, first of all, I have to bear in mind that this one will be way cheaper than the Mercedes, BMW, Audi models in comparison, and this of course makes a huge difference. And I can already feel right now, I mean, this is then here the luxury line and the 18-inch wheels. However, it really feels already quite sporty. I picked the one with the 18-inch wheels because this one was the petrol engine. It's more relevant for the worldwide market. And also with the 18-inch wheels, I can better rate the comfort. And you know, with the biggest wheels, it can sometimes be that, the comfort is bad, but then it's because of the big wheels. And so it's better to rate it here with the 18-inch ones. And getting on a German motorway, let's now accelerate it through 130. And because there's unlimited speed here now, and this is of course a famous German driving test here, now at 170 kilometers an hour, we feel there's better insulation here now from the side glass. There's still, some wind noise left, but overall, good noise insulation, definitely better than also with the facelifted model here. So this is also one of the major things they've been working on, and it feels also very stable at higher speeds. However, suspension-wise, so it doesn't lean too much to the left and the right and so on. However, the steering input is to me, let's say, a little bit too aggressive, I would say. I really have to be, really finely tuning the steering wheel. Because when so, a little bit more to the right or the left, and then the car is going nuts. A little bit like with the Alfa Giulia, especially before the Giulia facelift. So I think the fine-tuning of the steering wheel, they should definitely work on that. When we go a little bit slower, it's not such a problem. That's also very likable. As for suspension, ECS, electronically controlled suspension, so these adaptive dampers, and they make actually a good impression so far. Looking forward to some bumps, how they react then. I did criticize it with the bigger models that the suspension was a little bit harsh when we're going over some bumps. Here now at about 100 kilometers or 60 miles an hour, once again, good noise insulation. That can also keep up with the Germans, definitely. Suspension is indeed very good so far. So I do like that better than with the bigger models. Maybe it's just a weight thingy, that they can cope better with the little bit lighter models or so. But yeah, the most irritating thing is the steering. Let's go back to the comfort mode, see if it's different there. Yeah, so the thing is, it's kind of light here in the first degree angles. But then when you go to the, outside, then it's too much, So it's not sensitive enough, and then it's too sensitive. So that's the thing here about driving. They should improve, and that's not too hard to do. That's a thing of testing and just calibrating the software. They do not need necessarily to change the hardware for that. They can just change the software settings of the steering wheel, and then it should be fine. So if the Genesis engineers are watching that right now here, this is definitely something to address. You do not feel it as long as you don't, do too much with the steering. But yeah, you have to be really finely tuning that. Otherwise, the car goes nuts then to left and right. And here, by the way, at lower speeds, that steering issue doesn't play such an effect. So there, it's kind of smooth. There's not the big difference between, what's happening here and what's happening here. So that's really more a thing of Autobahn, and the faster you drive, somehow, the bigger the difference there is. That's very interesting as well. Can it keep up with the Germans? In general, definitely have to say yes, because exterior-wise, super styling, interior-wise, great build quality, user interface, in a lot of elements here, easier than with the new mid-size models by the Germans. Infotainment system wise, yeah, they didn't invest too much money in that. Stick with the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto definitely. And this car is a lot of fun to drive, definitely. And yeah, definitely need to fix the steering feeling a little bit. So there, Audi, BMW, and Mercedes give a little bit more natural feeling. And especially the Audi, by the way. The Audi has the best steering, you know, of the four now altogether. The space you get in the front and the rear is limited. That's the weakness of this car, especially in the rear, but also in the front. When you're not that tall, you know, when you're smaller than me, then it's not such a problem. But when you're as tall as me, then especially, for example, the Audi will be better. And the Mercedes is also quite narrow as for that, you know, especially in the front, so they are really comparable. But interesting finding for me is that here in the mid-size segment, Genesis sets everything on a sporty note. They have a very nice suspension that also delivers a good compromise of sportiness and comfort. And yeah, maybe the ride is a little bit more sophisticated when you drive a 3 Series or an Audi A4, and a little bit more comfortable definitely with the Mercedes C-Class. But other than that, you know, differences are getting minor and minor. And now when you get the price idea that this one here will be a way better deal than with the other ones, then it gets really interesting. And you should definitely compare also the GV70, the SUV mid-size model here of the Genesis, when we have that online, and also the competitors of this one, for example, Mercedes C-Class reviews here there.